The raucous alien laughter echoed through the ISS Defiance's command deck as the small human warship took its place between the mighty 2 kilometer Daxamit dreadnought, indomitable, and the imposing 1 kilometer Arcturian battleship, Celestial Fury. Captain Michael Reyes gritted his teeth. The laughter would stop soon enough. Reyes surveyed the military docking arm of Galactic Hub Alpha, reserved for ships from the 27-member races of the Galactic Council. Dozens of gleaming vessels stretched for miles, representing the technological and economic pinnacle of the known universe. The Defiance's rusting hull and cobbled armor looked utterly primitive next to them, just like Earth's 20 billion population paled compared to the trillions of citizens in established council races. Humanity needed this. 300 years after World War A nearly destroyed human civilization, membership in the Council offered the only path to survival. Earth teetered on collapse, its people fractured and resources depleted. Critics insisted humanity should focus inward, but Reyes knew integration was vital. Without a seat at the galactic table, Earth would wither and die. Reyes straightened his threadbare uniform as he headed to customs, his small crew of 50 falling in behind him. Raucous jeers and mocking whistles from thousands of aliens on the station pursued them, incredulous that humans dared seek entry to this exclusive club. A squat docking bot even issued Reyes a citation for a defiant reactor leak, which was actually just steam venting from the ancient cooling system. Fusion reactors hadn't been used in centuries. Reyes crumpled the citation in his fist, fuming inside even as he outwardly projected stony determination. Let them laugh for now. Humanity had fought too hard and come too far to let a few smug aliens bar the door to their future. One way or another, Reyes vowed, Earth would earn its place among the stars or perish trying. Reyes approached the customs desk, where a bored-looking Daxamit officer named Nan sat. Nan barely glanced up as he waved a scanner over Reyes' body. The device beeped, and Nan grunted, beckoning Reyes through. As Reyes stepped forward, an alarm blared, red lights flashed, and Nan shot to his feet, roughly shoving Reyes aside. "Hold it right there, human," Nan barked. He grabbed Reyes' antique rail pistol from its holster, holding it up with raised eyebrows. "Were you really about to bring a combustion weapon onto the station? What are you, a caveman?" Reyes held up his hands. "It's not a crude gun. It's an heirloom that's been in my family for generations. It doesn't even fire. The barrel is welded shut. It's purely ceremonial." Nan rolled his eyes. "You humans and your ridiculous superstitions about family history and ancestral legacies. That nonsense has no place in the galaxy anymore. You're never getting this back." Reyes watched in dismay as Nan callously tossed a priceless rail pistol, passed down from Reyes' great-great-grandfather, into a nearby incinerator chute. Reyes' fists clenched at his sides. He wanted nothing more than to deck the smug Daxamit in his condescending face, but getting arrested or killed over an insult would doom humanity's chances at joining the Council. Reyes forced his boiling anger down and asked in an even voice, "Can you please direct me to the Council chamber?" Nan jerked a thumb toward a transit tube across the bustling concourse. "Follow the signs, monkey boy. Even you should be able to figure it out." As Reyes strode away, his enhanced hearing picked up Nan muttering, "Damn upstart humans, wasting the Council's time. We should have just bombed them back to the Stone Age when we had the chance after their war." Reyes' jaw tightened, but he didn't look back or break stride. The Daxamit slur was just one more insult to endure, one more reason to prove humanity deserved a place at the galactic table. Earth needed this alliance to survive, and Reyes would do whatever it took to make that happen. The grand double doors of the Council chamber loomed before Reyes, towering several meters high. Ornate glyphs and bas-relief sculptures from 100 alien cultures adorned the polished panels. Reyes took a deep breath to steady himself. He reached out and pressed the entry chime. Captain Michael Reyes of the independent system ship Defiant, representing the human geocracy of Earth, he announced, his voice echoing in the vast antechamber. With a pneumatic hiss, the immense portal slid open. Reyes stepped across the threshold into a cavernous amphitheater. Tired seating platforms were arranged in a complete circle, rising up several stories. Reyes gaped at the sheer size and grandeur of it all. The domed ceiling sparkled with holographic star maps and slowly rotating galactic projections. 26 floating platforms hovered in a ring above the main floor, each one occupied by an alien counselor from a different member species. Some sat in hover chairs, others squatted on stumpy legs or balanced on prehensile tails. A few undulated on amorphous appendages that defied description. All of them peered down at Reyes with expressions ranging from curiosity to contempt. Reyes' eyes fell on the empty platform hovering directly across from the entrance. A flickering hologram identified it as the seat reserved for the human delegation. His heart sank as he realized he would have to stand alone on the chamber floor, craning his neck up at the sneering counselors perched above him. Behind Reyes, the massive doors swung shut with an ominous boom that reverberated through the amphitheater. He flinched as a deep, patronizing voice filled the room, seeming to come from everywhere at once. "Ah, the Earth representative has finally deigned to arrive," it burbled. Reyes saw the speaker was a shimmering gelatinous mass draped across a platform high above. Glistening tendrils rippled along its translucent skin as it continued. "We had begun to wonder if your species had invented a faster-than-light drive advanced enough to make it here." A wave of mocking laughter swept through the assembled counselors. Insectoid mandibles clacked, reptilian snouts huffed, and gaseous orifices made rude noises. Reyes' face burned, but he held his head high. Before he could utter a retort, a spherical crone droid zipped down from the ceiling and hovered right in front of him. A blinding scanner beam played over Reyes from head to toe. He squinted and held up a hand to shield his eyes. Species identity confirmed, human, a tiny robotic voice intoned. Threat assessment, minimal. Technological inferiority index, 9 out of 10. Percentage likelihood of council membership approval. The council's dismissal. Captain Michael Reyes trudged back to the Defiant, his mind a whirlwind of emotions. The rejection by the Galactic Council stung deeply, but it also ignited a fierce determination within him. He refused to let humanity's efforts be dismissed so easily. As he neared the docking bay, his thoughts were interrupted by the sight of his crew waiting anxiously for him. "Captain, what happened in there?" Lieutenant Jenna Park asked, her eyes filled with concern. Reyes took a deep breath, composing himself. "They've denied our petition, but this isn't over. We're going to prove them wrong." The crew exchanged worried glances, but nodded in agreement. They had followed Reyes through thick and thin, and they trusted his leadership implicitly. Reyes felt a surge of gratitude for his loyal crew. They were his family, and he would do everything in his power to ensure their success. The unexpected attack. Suddenly, the station's alarm blared again, and the deck shuddered violently under their feet. The computerized voice announced an attack on Galactic Hub Alpha. Panic spread among the station's inhabitants as they scrambled for safety. Reyes immediately switched to command mode. "All hands to your stations. We need to get the Defiant operational and ready for battle." The crew sprang into action, racing towards their ship. Reyes led the way, his mind racing with strategies. He knew they were outgunned and outmatched, but they had one advantage: the element of surprise. A desperate plan. As they reached the Defiant, Reyes quickly assessed the situation. The ship's ancient systems were barely functional, but they had to make do with what they had. He called for a quick meeting with his senior officers. "Lieutenant Park, I need you to divert all available power to the shields and weapons. Ensign Carter, get the engines running at full capacity. And Chief Engineer Malik, see if you can coax any more power out of the reactor." The officers nodded and dispersed to their tasks. Reyes took a moment to gather his thoughts. They had one chance to make a difference, and he wasn't going to waste it. Facing the enemy, the Defiant's engines roared to life, and the ship lifted off the docking bay floor. Reyes guided the ship out into the vastness of space, where the battle was already raging. Alien ships of various designs and sizes were attacking the station, their energy weapons slicing through the station's defenses. Reyes steered the Defiant towards the nearest enemy ship, a sleek, menacing vessel bristling with weapons. "All hands, prepare for combat. We're going in hot." The Defiant shuddered as it took its first hit, but the shields held. Reyes directed the ship's weapons at the enemy vessel, and Lieutenant Park unleashed a barrage of laser fire. The alien ship's shields flickered under the onslaught, and Reyes pressed the advantage. "Fire everything we've got," he ordered. The Defiant's weapons blazed, and the enemy ship erupted in a ball of fire. The crew cheered, but Reyes knew this was just the beginning. They had to keep fighting, no matter the odds. A moment of hope. As the battle raged on, the Defiant managed to take down several more enemy ships. The crew worked tirelessly, their resolve unwavering. Reyes felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could turn the tide. But then a massive alien battleship appeared on the horizon, its weapons aimed directly at the Defiant. Reyes' heart sank. This was it. Their final stand. "All hands, brace for impact," he called out. The alien ship fired, and the Defiant's shields buckled under the assault. Reyes gritted his teeth, refusing to give up. He would fight to the last breath for his crew, for humanity. An unexpected ally. Just as all seemed lost, a new ship appeared on the sensors. It was unlike any other, sleek and powerful, with an emblem Reyes didn't recognize. The new ship opened fire on the alien battleship, drawing its attention away from the Defiant. "Who are they?" Lieutenant Park asked, awe in her voice. Reyes shook his head, equally stunned. "I don't know, but they're on our side." With the help of their mysterious ally, the Defiant managed to regroup and continue the fight. Reyes watched as the alien battleship was finally destroyed, a sense of relief washing over him. They had survived against all odds. A new beginning. As the battle came to an end, Reyes received a transmission from the new ship. A holographic image of an alien captain appeared on the Defiant's bridge. "Captain Reyes, I am Captain Kale of the Vexari. We have been observing your species for some time and believe you have great potential. We would like to discuss an alliance." Reyes couldn't believe his ears. An alliance with a new, powerful ally. This could change everything. "Thank you, Captain Kale. We would be honored to discuss an alliance." As the Defiant and the Vexari ship docked, Reyes felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity's journey was far from over. They had new friends, new challenges, and new possibilities. And together, they would reach for the stars. The alliance. Captain Michael Reyes stood in the docking bay of the Defiant, watching as the airlock opened to reveal Captain Kale and a delegation of Vexari. The Vexari were tall and graceful, with silvery skin that shimmered under the station's lights. Their eyes, a deep, vibrant blue, conveyed intelligence and curiosity. "Welcome aboard the Defiant," Reyes greeted, extending his hand. Kale studied the gesture for a moment before mimicking it. "Thank you, Captain Reyes. We are honored to be here." As the two captains and their delegations walked through the ship, Reyes couldn't help but feel a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. The Vexari's sudden appearance had turned the tide of battle, and now they were offering an alliance. He needed to understand their motives and ensure humanity's interests were protected. A meeting of minds. In the Defiance conference room, Reyes and Kale sat across from each other, flanked by their respective officers. The room was tense with anticipation. "Captain Kale," Reyes began, "we're grateful for your assistance in the battle, but I must ask, why have you chosen to help us now?" Kale's expression was calm and measured. "We have been observing your species for some time. Your resilience and ingenuity in the face of adversity are traits we admire. We believe that together, we can achieve great things. Our common enemy, the Ravagers, threaten not just your species, but many others across the galaxy. An alliance would benefit us both. Reyes nodded, considering Cale's words. What exactly are you proposing? Cale leaned forward, his eyes intent. We propose a mutual defense pact. Our technology and resources combined with your tenacity and creativity could turn the tide against the Ravagers. We would share technology, intelligence, and provide military support to each other. Weighing the options, Reyes looked at his officers. Lieutenant Park, Chief Engineer Malik, and Ensign Carter all wore expressions of cautious optimism. He turned back to Cale. Your proposal is generous, Captain Cale. But we need to understand the full extent of what this alliance entails. Our people have been through a lot, and we can't afford to make hasty decisions. Cale nodded in understanding. Of course, Captain Reyes. We are prepared to share detailed information about our technology and our plans for the future. We believe transparency is key to a successful partnership. Reyes appreciated the straightforwardness. Let's begin with that, then. Show us what you have. Unveiling the Vexari technology. Cale's delegation presented a series of holographic displays showcasing Vexari technology and their strategic plans. The Defiance crew watched in awe as advanced propulsion systems, energy weapons, and defense mechanisms were revealed. The potential for upgrading their own ship and defenses was immense. Chief Engineer Malik was particularly enthusiastic. Captain, with these enhancements, we could triple our ship's efficiency and firepower. Lieutenant Park nodded in agreement, and their intelligence on the Ravagers is extensive. This could give us the upper hand we've been needing. Reyes took it all in, feeling a growing sense of hope. This alliance could indeed be the game-changer we need. Forming the pact. After hours of discussions and negotiations, both sides reached an agreement. The Vexari would provide technological upgrades and intelligence, while humanity would offer their strategic ingenuity and resourcefulness. The alliance was formalized with a ceremonial exchange of artifacts, a Vexari crystal, and a piece of Earth's moon rock. Cale stood, extending his hand once more. To a prosperous alliance, Captain Reyes. Reyes shook Cale's hand firmly. To a prosperous alliance, Captain Cale. The first joint mission. With the alliance sealed, Reyes and Cale wasted no time in planning their first joint mission. The Ravagers had a stronghold on a nearby moon, and taking it down would be their first step in reclaiming territory. Reyes gathered his crew. Listen up, everyone. This mission is critical. We're going to hit the Ravagers hard and show them that humanity and the Vexari are a force to be reckoned with. Let's make history. The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by the new alliance and the promise of a brighter future. The Defiant, now equipped with Vexari upgrades, felt like a completely new ship. A new dawn. As the Defiant and the Vexari ship set course for the Ravager stronghold, Reyes couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger, with new allies and new opportunities. The journey ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in a long while, he felt hopeful. Humanity's resilience, combined with Vexari technology, was a powerful combination. Together, they would forge a new path, one that led to victory and a brighter future for all. The battle for the moon. The Defiant and the Vexari ship, Aurora, moved in unison through the void of space, their combined forces ready to strike the Ravager stronghold on the moon of Hyva-3. The crew of the Defiant was a mix of nervous energy and fierce determination. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge, watching as the moon grew larger on the viewscreen. Status report, Reyes ordered. Lieutenant Park, monitoring the sensors, responded promptly. We're approaching the moon's orbit, Captain. The Ravager defenses are active, but they haven't detected us yet. Good, Reyes replied. Let's keep it that way. Prepare for silent running. We need the element of surprise. The plan. Reyes and Cale had devised a two-pronged attack. The Defiant would take out the Ravager defense grid, while the Aurora would deploy ground troops to secure key installations on the surface. Coordination was crucial. Reyes activated the comlink to the Aurora. Captain Cale, we're in position, ready to commence Phase 1. Cale's voice came through clear and steady. Acknowledged, Captain Reyes. Aurora is ready. Good luck. Reyes nodded to Lieutenant Park. Engage silent running. Let's get in close. Infiltration. The Defiant glided silently through space, its systems operating at minimal power to avoid detection. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they approached the defense grid. Visual on the target, Park reported. Ravager defense satellites. 10 clicks out. Reyes nodded. Weapons. Prepare EMP torpedoes. Target the satellite's central control hubs. Lieutenant Carter, at the weapons station, locked onto the targets. Torpedoes ready, Captain. Fire, Reyes commanded. The Defiant launched a volley of MP torpedoes, streaking towards the Ravager satellites. Moments later, the torpedoes impacted, and the satellites flickered and went dark. Defense grid is down, Park confirmed. We're clear to proceed. Reyes opened the comlink again. Aurora, you're clear. Commence Phase 2. Ground assault. On the surface of Hyla 3, Vexari ground troops, led by Cale, deployed from the Aurora. The sleek, agile Vexari soldiers moved with precision, their advanced weaponry cutting through the Ravager defenses. The objective was to secure the main command center, disrupting the Ravager's operations. Cale led his troops through the moon's rocky terrain, communicating with Reyes over a secure channel. Captain Reyes, we're encountering heavy resistance near the command center. Requesting air support. Reyes immediately responded. Copy that, Cale. Defiant, prepare for close air support. Target the Ravager positions around the command center. Close air support. The Defiant swooped low over the moon's surface, its weapons systems primed. Lieutenant Carter targeted the Ravager positions and unleashed a barrage of precision strikes. Explosions erupted around the command center, clearing a path for the Vexari troops. Cale's voice came through again. Thanks for the assist, Defiant. We're moving in. Reyes watched the battle unfold on the view screen, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. Keep pushing, Cale. We're counting on you. Securing victory. The Vexari troops, supported by the Defiant's airstrikes, pressed forward. They breached the command center's defenses, neutralizing the Ravager forces inside. Cale and his soldiers secured the control room, disabling the stronghold's remaining defenses. We've secured the command center, Cale reported. The moon is ours. Cheers erupted on the Defiant's bridge. Reyes allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before addressing his crew. Excellent work, everyone. But this is just the beginning. We need to fortify our position and prepare for any counterattack. Consolidation and preparation. With the Ravager stronghold secured, the Defiant and the Aurora worked together to establish a fortified base on Hyla 3. Engineers from both ships collaborated to integrate Vexari technology with human ingenuity, creating a formidable defense system. Reyes and Cale stood side by side, overseeing the construction efforts. This alliance is already bearing fruit, Reyes remarked. Our combined strength is formidable. Cale nodded in agreement. Indeed, Captain Reyes. Together, we can achieve much. But we must remain vigilant. The Ravagers will not take this loss lightly. A new threat. As the Defiant and Aurora fortified their position, their sensors picked up a new threat. A large Ravager fleet was mobilizing, heading straight for Hyla 3. The battle they had just won was only a prelude to a much larger conflict. Lieutenant Park reported the ominous development. Captain, we're detecting a massive Ravager fleet inbound. ETA 2 hours. Reyes felt a chill run down his spine. Alert all hands. Prepare for battle. This isn't over yet. Cale placed a hand on Reyes's shoulder. We will face this together, Captain. Our alliance will hold strong. Reyes nodded, determination hardening his resolve. Together, then, let's show the Ravagers what we're made of. The stage was set for an epic confrontation, The alliance between humanity and the Vexari would be tested like never before, and the fate of HFY, and possibly the galaxy, hung in the balance. The onslaught. The bridge of the Defiant was a hive of activity as the crew prepared for the impending Ravager assault. The tension was palpable, every member of the crew acutely aware of the stakes. Captain Reyes stood at the center, issuing orders with a calm authority that belied the storm brewing in his mind. Lieutenant Park, status on the Ravager fleet, Reyes ordered. Park's fingers danced over the console, pulling up the latest data. The fleet is closing fast, Captain. Approximately 50 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. Reyes exchanged a grim look with Lieutenant Carter. We'll need every advantage we can get. Prepare all defensive systems. I want a full sweep of our remaining resources and a status check on our alliances. The intercom crackled to life as Kale's voice came through. Reyes, the Vexari are ready. Our ground troops are fortifying positions, and our fighters are prepared to engage. Good to hear. Cal, Reyes replied. We're counting on you to hold the line. We'll handle the space battle. Stay in touch and relay any significant developments. The calm before the storm. As the Defiant and the Aurora finalized their preparations, a brief lull settled over HFY. Reyes used this moment to address his crew, knowing that the battle ahead would test them like never before. All hands, this is Captain Reyes, he began, his voice steady and resolute. We've faced the Ravagers before, but this time, we stand united with the Vexari. Our strength lies in our resolve and our unity. Remember, we fight not just for survival, but for the hope of a better future. Stand firm, trust in each other, and we will prevail. The crew responded with a chorus of affirmations, their spirits bolstered by Reyes's words. The gravity of their mission hung heavy in the air, but so did their determination. The first wave. The Ravager fleet emerged from hyperspace, their ships spreading out in a menacing formation. The Defiant and the Aurora moved to intercept, their weapons systems primed and ready. Incoming enemy fighters. Park reported. They're targeting our forward defenses. Engage at will, Reyes commanded. Carter, focus fire on the lead dreadnought. We need to cut the head off this snake. The Defiant's cannons roared to life, sending volleys of plasma bolts towards the approaching Ravager ships. The Aurora's sleek fighters darted through the chaos, engaging the Ravager forces with precision strikes. Tactical maneuvers. As the battle raged, Reyes and Kale coordinated their forces with remarkable synergy. The Defiant's heavy firepower and the Aurora's agility complemented each other perfectly, creating a formidable defense. Reyes, we've got multiple boarding parties attempting to breach our hull, Kale reported. Understood, Reyes replied. Deploy countermeasures and reinforce internal security. We can't let them gain a foothold. On the surface of HFY, Vexari ground troops held their positions, repelling waves of Ravager infantry. The Alliance's combined efforts were proving effective, but the sheer number of enemy forces was overwhelming. The turning point. Despite their valiant defense, the Alliance forces were beginning to feel the strain. The Ravager's relentless assault was taking its toll, and the Defiant's shields were failing. Captain, our shields are down to 20%, Park warned. Reyes gritted his teeth. We need to take out those dreadnoughts. Carter, target their engines. If we can disable them, we can gain some breathing room. As the Defiant focused its fire on the lead dreadnought, a series of explosions rocked the massive enemy ship. The dreadnought's engines sputtered and died, sending it drifting aimlessly in space. 1 down, 2 to go, Reyes muttered. Keep up the pressure. A desperate gamble. With the battle teetering on the edge, Reyes made a bold decision. Cal, I need you to take a strike team and board the remaining dreadnoughts. If we can disable their command centers, we can turn the tide. Cal didn't hesitate. Understood. We'll need a distraction to cover our approach. Reyes nodded. Leave that to us. Defiant, prepare to engage the second dreadnought at point-blank range. All power to weapons. The Defiant surged forward, closing the distance with the second dreadnought. The Ravager ship's guns blazed, but the Defiant held its course, returning fire with everything it had. Boarding action. Under the cover of the Defiant's assault, Kale and his strike team launched from the Aurora, slipping past the Ravager defenses. They breached the hull of the second dreadnought, moving swiftly through the corridors towards the command center. "Reyes, we're inside," Kale reported, moving to disable the command systems now. The battle within the dreadnought was fierce, but Kale's team fought with unmatched determination. They reached the command center, planting charges on the primary control consoles. "Charges set," Kale confirmed. Returning to the Aurora, as Kale's team made their escape, the charges detonated, plunging the dreadnought into chaos. The loss of their command center crippled the ship, leaving it vulnerable to the Defiant's continued assault. A hard-earned victory. With 2 of the dreadnoughts disabled, the Ravager fleet began to falter. The remaining ships attempted to retreat, but the Alliance forces pursued, pressing their advantage. "Captain, the Ravagers are withdrawing," Park reported. Reyes allowed himself a brief moment of relief. "Let them go. We've done enough damage for one day." The Defiant and the Aurora regrouped, their crews exhausted but victorious. The battle for HFY had been won, but the war was far from over. Reflection and resolve. As the dust settled, Reyes and Kale stood together, surveying the aftermath. The Alliance had proven its strength, but the cost had been high. "Today we showed the Ravagers that we will not be conquered," Reyes said quietly. "But we must remain vigilant. The real test is still to come." Kale nodded. "Agree, Captain. Our alliance is strong, but we must continue to strengthen it. The future of our worlds depends on it." Reyes extended his hand. "Together, we'll face whatever comes. For our people, for our future." Kale clasped Reyes's hand firmly. Together, the bond forged in battle would be the cornerstone of their resistance. As they prepared for the challenges ahead, Reyes and Kale knew that their unity was their greatest weapon against the darkness that threatened the galaxy. New alliances. The aftermath of the battle left the Defiant and the Aurora in urgent need of repairs. HFY's surface bore the scars of conflict, but the planet stood resilient. As Reyes and Kale worked to strengthen their alliance, a new challenge emerged, seeking additional allies to fortify their position against the Ravagers. A call for unity. Captain Reyes and Kale convened with their respective command staffs to discuss their next steps. The conference room aboard the Defiant was filled with tension and determination. "We've proven our strength, but we need more allies if we're to turn the tide against the Ravagers," Reyes began. "We can't do this alone." Kale nodded in agreement. "The Vexari have other allied races we can reach out to. Some have remained neutral, but with the right approach, they might join our cause." The diplomatic mission. Reyes and Kale decided to send envoys to various systems, seeking to rally support. Lieutenant Carter was tasked with leading the human delegation, while Kale would personally oversee the Vexari efforts. "Remember, we need to show them that unity is our greatest strength," Reyes advised Carter before she departed. "Our recent victory is a testament to what we can achieve together." Carter nodded. "I'll make sure they understand, Captain. We'll bring back allies." The first contact. Lieutenant Carter's first destination was the Thalassian system, home to a race known for their advanced technology and strategic prowess. As the Defiance shuttle approached the Thalassian capital, Carter prepared to present their case. The Thalassian Council, a group of imposing figures adorned in regal attire, listened intently as Carter outlined the threat posed by the Ravagers and the necessity of a united front. "We've seen firsthand what the Ravagers are capable of," Carter explained, "but we've also seen that they can be defeated when we stand together. We need your support to ensure a future free from their tyranny." The Thalassian Council deliberated for what seemed like an eternity before their leader, A dignified elder named Lorien spoke. "Your plea is compelling, Lieutenant. We will consider your request and provide our answer soon." Unexpected allies. While Carter worked on securing the Thalassian alliance, Cal approached the Zarak, a fiercely independent race known for their warrior culture. Convincing them to join the cause would be no small feat. Cal met with the Zarak chieftain, a formidable figure named Rasha. "We seek your strength, Chieftain Rasha," Cal began. "The Ravagers threaten us all, and together we can stand against them." Rasha eyed Cal critically. "The Zarak do not easily ally with others. What can you offer us that we cannot achieve on our own?" Cal met Rasha's gaze unwaveringly. "Respect and honor. The Vexari and humans fought side by side and won. Join us, and together we will achieve even greater victories." After a tense silence, Rasha nodded slowly. "You speak with conviction, Cal of the Vexari. The Zarak will consider your proposal." Unity in diversity. Over the following weeks, Carter and Cal's diplomatic efforts began to bear fruit. The Thalassians agreed to join the alliance, impressed by the humans' resilience and the Vexari's honor. The Zarak, swayed by the promise of respect and the potential for glory, also pledged their support. Back on the Defiant, Reyes and Cal welcomed the new allies. The Bridge of the Defiant became a symbol of unity, with representatives from each race working together to coordinate their efforts. Preparing for the next battle, with new allies came new strategies. The Thalassians provided advanced technology to bolster the Alliance's defenses, while the Zarak offered their expertise in ground combat and unconventional tactics. Captain Reyes stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, surrounded by his diverse council. "Our next objective is to strike a decisive blow against the Ravagers. We need to disrupt their supply lines and weaken their foothold." Lorien, the Thalassian leader, pointed to a key Ravager supply depot. "This location is critical to their operations. If we can take it out, it will cripple their ability to sustain their forces." Rasha, the Zarak chieftain, added, "We should also consider a direct assault on one of their command ships. Cut off the head, and the body will flail." Reyes nodded. "Agreed. We'll need a multi-pronged approach. Carter, I want you to lead the mission to the supply depot. Cal, you'll take a team to infiltrate the command ship." The final push. As the Alliance prepared for their dual missions, the sense of urgency was palpable. The fate of countless worlds hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. Lieutenant Carter and her team boarded a stealth shuttle, their destination the Ravager supply depot. "Remember, we need to move quickly and hit hard," Carter instructed. "Disable their defenses, plant the charges, and get out." Meanwhile, Cal and his strike team approached the Ravager command ship under the cover of darkness. "Stay focused," Cal urged. "We get in, neutralize the command, and signal for extraction." The strike. Carter's team infiltrated the supply depot with precision, their training and unity evident in every movement. They quickly disabled the depot's defenses and set their charges. As they made their escape, the charges detonated, sending a massive explosion rippling through the depot. On the Ravager command ship, Cal and his team encountered fierce resistance. The corridors were a maze of enemy soldiers and automated defenses. Despite the challenges, they fought their way to the command center, planting charges on critical systems. "Charges set," Cal reported, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "We're heading to the extraction point." A new dawn. As the Alliance forces regrouped, the impact of their coordinated strikes became clear. The Ravager supply lines were in disarray, and the loss of their command ship left their fleet vulnerable. Captain Reyes addressed his assembled allies, his voice filled with hope and determination. "Today, we've shown what we can achieve when we stand together. This is just the beginning. We will continue to fight, continue to resist, and we will prevail." The diverse assembly erupted in cheers, their unity stronger than ever. The Alliance had proven that strength lay not in numbers, but in the bonds forged between them. As the Defiant and its allies prepared for the battles to come, they knew that their greatest weapon was the unity that had brought them together. The future of the galaxy depended on their continued cooperation and unwavering resolve. Part 7. The Final Stand. With the Alliance growing stronger and their victories mounting, the time had come to confront the Ravagers head-on. The Alliance's ultimate goal was to reach the heart of the Ravager Empire and dismantle it once and for all. The plan. Captain Reyes, Kel, and the leaders of their allied forces gathered to finalize their strategy. The holographic map of the galaxy displayed the Ravager homeworld, heavily fortified and protected by a massive fleet. Reyes pointed to key points on the map. Our objective is to breach their defenses and strike at their command center. This will require a coordinated assault on multiple fronts. Lorian, the Thalassian leader, added, our advanced technology can disrupt their communications and defenses, giving us a critical advantage. Rasha, the Zarak chieftain, grinned fiercely. And the Zarak will lead the ground assault. We'll show the Ravagers what true warriors are made of. The invasion. As the Alliance fleet approached the Ravager homeworld, tension ran high. The massive fleet of Allied ships, including the Defiant and the Aurora, moved into position. All ships, this is Captain Reyes, he announced over the intercom. Today, we fight for the future of our galaxy. Stay focused, stay united, and we will prevail. The Ravager defenses opened fire as the Alliance fleet entered their space. The sky was filled with streaks of energy and explosions as the two forces clashed. Breaching the defenses. The Thalassians' advanced technology proved invaluable as they disrupted the Ravagers' communications and disabled key defensive systems. This created openings for the Alliance forces to exploit. Carter, take your squad and secure the western flank, Reyes ordered. Cal, you're with me. We're heading straight for their command center. On the ground, Rasha led the Zarak forces in a brutal assault, cutting through Ravager troops with relentless determination. Their ferocity inspired the Allied soldiers, who fought with renewed vigor. The final push. As Reyes and Kale's team advanced towards the Ravager command center, they encountered fierce resistance. The corridors were a battleground, filled with the sounds of blaster fire and the clash of weapons. We're close, Reyes said, his voice steady. Keep pushing forward. Kale nodded, his resolve unwavering. For our people. For the future. The confrontation. The Alliance forces breached the Ravager command center, finding themselves face to face with the Ravager leader, a towering figure radiating malice and power. You dare challenge us? The Ravager leader sneered. You will fall like all the others. Reyes stepped forward, his eyes blazing with determination. We stand united. Your tyranny ends today. The battle that followed was fierce and desperate. Reyes, Cal, and their allies fought with everything they had, their unity and determination giving them the edge they needed. Victory. With a final decisive strike, the Ravager leader and the command center was seized. The victory was hard-won, but it marked the beginning of the end for the Ravager threat. The turning point. The defeat of the Ravager leader sent shockwaves through their forces. The Alliance capitalized on the chaos, launching coordinated attacks across the Ravager Empire. The once terrifying Ravager fleet began to crumble under the relentless pressure of the united forces. As the battle raged on, the Alliance's superior strategy and determination turned the tide. Each victory on the battlefield was a testament to the strength of their unity and the sacrifices made by countless soldiers. Rebuilding. With the Ravager threat diminished, the focus shifted to rebuilding and restoring order. The Defiant and its allies worked together to assist in the reconstruction of Ravager-controlled territories, bringing aid and stability to war-torn regions. Captain Reyes, Kel, and the leaders of their allied forces gathered to discuss the next steps. The galaxy was in a state of transition, and it was crucial to ensure that the hard-won peace was maintained. We've achieved something extraordinary, Reyes said during the meeting. But our work is not done. we need to ensure that the lessons we've learned and the bonds we've forged continue to guide us. A new era. The alliance, now firmly established, began to address the challenges of rebuilding and fostering cooperation among diverse races. New diplomatic channels were opened, and collaborative efforts were undertaken to prevent future conflicts. The Thalassians, Zarak, and other allied races worked together with humans and Vexari to create a framework for ongoing peace and mutual support. The once divided galaxy now stood united, a symbol of what could be achieved through unity and collaboration. The legacy. Captain Reyes and Kale were hailed as heroes, their leadership and bravery a beacon of hope for the galaxy. Their story became a legend, inspiring future generations to strive for harmony and understanding. In the years that followed, the Alliance continued to thrive, exploring new frontiers and making discoveries that expanded the horizons of their collective knowledge. The unity forged in the fires of conflict became a guiding principle for all who sought a better future. Reflections. As Captain Reyes stood on the observation deck of the Defiant, looking out at the vast expanse of space, he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The struggles, the victories, and the sacrifices had all led to a new era of peace and cooperation. Cal joined him, a look of satisfaction on his face. "We've come a long way, Captain." Reyes nodded. "Indeed, we have. And we've proven that even in the darkest times, unity and determination can light the way to a brighter future." The future. With the Ravagers defeated and a new era of cooperation established, the galaxy looked toward the future with optimism. The Alliance remained vigilant, committed to preserving the peace they had fought so hard to achieve. Captain Reyes, Cal, and their allies continued to explore the unknown, seeking out new opportunities for growth and understanding. Their legacy was one of resilience and hope, a testament to the power of unity in overcoming adversity. As the stars stretched out before them, the Defiant and its crew embarked on their next adventure, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same courage and resolve that had seen them through the darkest days. The galaxy was no longer a place of fear and division, but one of a new dawn. The aftermath. With the Ravager forces scattered and their leader defeated, the galaxy entered a period of fragile peace. The Alliance, now stronger and more united than ever, focused on consolidating their gains and addressing the lingering issues that had arisen during the conflict. The Thalassians, Zarak, and Vexari, alongside humans, began to rebuild their worlds, each race bringing their unique strengths to the task. The once devastated planets slowly started to recover, their people working together to restore their homes and ensure a stable future. Diplomacy and reconciliation. Captain Reyes and Cal took on pivotal roles in fostering diplomacy and reconciliation among the various races. They led numerous negotiations and peace talks, striving to address the grievances and suspicions that lingered from the war. One of their first major accomplishments was establishing a Galactic Council, a forum where representatives from each race could come together to discuss and resolve issues peacefully. The council was designed to promote understanding and cooperation, ensuring that conflicts could be addressed through dialogue rather than warfare. New alliances. As the council took shape, new alliances formed beyond the original coalition. The Krillith, a previously neutral race with advanced technological capabilities, offered their support in exchange for protection and integration into the alliance. The integration of the Krillith was a significant milestone. Their technological prowess and strategic insights proved invaluable in fortifying the alliance's position and expanding their reach across the galaxy. Challenges and opportunities. Despite the progress, the galaxy faced numerous challenges. Resources were scarce in some areas, and the task of rebuilding was monumental. The Alliance worked tirelessly to address these issues, employing innovative solutions and fostering a spirit of collaboration. One of the most ambitious projects was the creation of a galactic network of resource-sharing hubs. These hubs facilitated the distribution of critical supplies and support to regions in need, ensuring that no world was left behind in the recovery effort. The emergence of a new threat. Just as the galaxy began to stabilize, a new threat emerged from the fringes of known space. A previously unknown faction, the Nihilites, began to make their presence known through acts of aggression and subversion. The Nihilites, with their mysterious motives and advanced weaponry, posed a significant challenge to the fragile peace that had been established. The Alliance, though still recovering from the Ravager conflict, knew that they had to respond swiftly to this new threat. Rallying the forces, Captain Reyes and Kale took the lead in organizing a response to the Nihilite threat. They convened an emergency summit of the Galactic Council, rallying the member races to confront the new danger with unity and determination. The Alliance's response was swift and coordinated. They mobilized their forces, combining their technological and strategic resources to counter the Nihilites' advances. The initial encounters were tense and fraught with uncertainty, but the Alliance's resolve remained steadfast. The clash of ideologies. As the conflict with the Nihilites escalated, it became clear that the two sides were not only clashing militarily but also ideologically. The Nihilites' goal seemed to be the dismantling of the established order and the imposition of their own vision of galactic dominance. The Alliance, guided by the principles of unity and cooperation, was determined to uphold the values they had fought for. The ideological struggle became a central theme of the conflict, with each side vying for the support of neutral factions and planets. The road ahead. The battle against the Nihilites tested the Alliance's strength and unity in new ways. The challenges they faced were daunting, but they approached each obstacle with the same courage and resilience that had carried them through the Ravager conflict. As the galaxy once again faced the specter of war, the Alliance remained committed to their mission of preserving peace and fostering cooperation. They understood that their journey was far from over and that the future of the galaxy depended on their ability to adapt and persevere. Conclusion. The emergence of the Nihilites marked the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy's history. The Alliance, having proven its capacity for resilience and innovation, prepared to confront this new challenge with the same determination that had seen them through their previous trials. Captain Reyes and Kale, along with their allies, stood ready to face whatever lay ahead. Their legacy of bravery and unity continued to inspire hope and drive their efforts as they worked toward a future where peace and cooperation could flourish amidst the stars. The galaxy, though still in the midst of uncertainty, held the promise of a brighter tomorrow, forged by the collective strength and resolve of those who dared to dream of a better world. The gathering storm. The Nihilite incursion. The Nihilites, enigmatic and ruthless, continued their campaign against the Galactic Alliance with alarming efficiency. Their operations were marked by precise strikes and psychological warfare, designed to destabilize the already fragile peace. The Alliance's early attempts to counter the Nihilite threat revealed the sophistication of their adversary. The Nihilites employed cloaking technology and unconventional tactics, making them a formidable opponent. Their goal appeared to be not just territorial control, but sowing discord and mistrust among the various races of the galaxy. The Alliance's response. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session to address the Nihilite threat. Captain Reyes, Kale, and other key leaders presented their assessments and proposed strategies to counteract the Nihilites' advances. The Council agreed on a multi-pronged approach. They would focus on intelligence gathering to understand the Nihilites' motives and capabilities, enhance defensive measures across key strategic locations, and launch a coordinated campaign to disrupt the Nihilite operations. Building alliances. In a bid to strengthen their position, the Alliance sought to expand its network of allies. They reached out to previously neutral factions and even former adversaries who might have a vested interest in opposing the Nihilites. One of the most significant developments was the reactivation of the Old Coalition, a group of independent systems that had previously distanced themselves from the Galactic Council. their re-entry into the fold brought additional resources and strategic advantages. Espionage and intelligence. The Alliance's intelligence operations became a crucial part of their strategy. They deployed covert teams to gather information on Nihilite operations and identify key targets. The intelligence gathered helped them understand the Nihilites' strengths and weaknesses, as well as their strategic objectives. One notable success was the infiltration of a Nihilite cell, which provided critical insights into their plans and allowed the Alliance to preempt several major attacks. The Siege of Valter. The Nihilites launched a major offensive against the Valter system, a key strategic location with significant resources. The Alliance had anticipated such an attack and had already begun fortifying the system's defenses. The Siege of Valter was a brutal and protracted conflict. The Alliance forces, led by General Alia Drayton and her tactical team, mounted a fierce defense. The battle showcased the determination and resilience of the Alliance forces, who managed to repel the Nihilite assault despite overwhelming odds. The role of the Thalassians. The Thalassians played a pivotal role in the defense of Valter. Their advanced energy shields and defensive technologies were instrumental in holding back the Nihilite forces. Their contributions underscored the importance of the diverse capabilities within the Alliance and the strength that came from their cooperation. The turning point. Amid the ongoing conflict, a breakthrough came when the Alliance managed to capture a high-ranking Nihilite commander during a raid on a forward base. The commander, a figure known only as the Wraith, held valuable information about the Nihilite command structure and their strategic plans. The interrogation of the Wraith provided crucial insights into the Nihilites' long-term objectives and their plans to disrupt the Galactic Council. This information allowed the Alliance to adapt their strategy and mount a more effective counter-offensive. The Alliance's counter-offensive. With new intelligence in hand, the Alliance launched a series of counter-offensives aimed at crippling the Nihilite operations. The campaigns were designed to disrupt their supply lines, destroy their command centers, and reduce their operational capabilities. One of the key operations was the Phantom Strike, a coordinated assault on a major Nihilite staging area. The operation, led by Captain Reyes and Kale, was executed with precision and resulted in a significant blow to the Nihilite forces. The psychological toll. The prolonged conflict took a toll on both the soldiers and civilians across the galaxy. The constant threat of Nihilite attacks and the stress of war created a climate of fear and uncertainty. The Alliance recognized the importance of addressing the psychological impact of the war. They implemented programs to support mental health and provide relief to those affected by the conflict. These efforts helped maintain morale and resilience among the population. The path forward. As the conflict with the Nihilites continued, the Alliance remained committed to their goals of peace and cooperation. The challenges they faced were immense, but they approached each obstacle with determination and resourcefulness. Captain Reyes, Kale, and their allies understood that the path to victory required not only military strength, but also diplomatic and strategic acumen. They worked tirelessly to balance their efforts, ensuring that their response to the Nihilites was both effective and aligned with their values. Conclusion. The struggle against the Nihilites marked a new chapter in the galaxy's history. The Alliance's efforts to counter the threat demonstrated their capacity for adaptation and resilience. As they navigated the complexities of the conflict, they remained hopeful for a future where peace and cooperation could once again prevail. The galaxy, though still in turmoil, held the promise of a brighter future, shaped by the collective strength and determination of those who refused to succumb to despair. The fight against the Nihilites was far from over, but the spirit of unity and hope continued to drive the Alliance forward. Shadows of the past. The legacy of the ancients. Amidst the ongoing conflict with the Nihilites, whispers of an ancient threat began to surface. The discovery of ancient ruins on a remote planet revealed that a long-forgotten race had once faced a similar danger, leaving behind cryptic records and artifacts. Archaeologists and historians within the Alliance started examining these ruins, seeking any clues about how the ancients had dealt with their adversaries. The findings included fragments of texts, advanced technology, and clues about a potentially devastating weapon known as the Celestial Beacon. The Celestial Beacon. The Celestial Beacon was rumored to be a powerful relic with the capability to manipulate energy on a galactic scale. The ancient records hinted that the beacon had been hidden away to prevent its misuse and that it held the key to ending the Nihilate threat. The Alliance Council debated whether to pursue the beacon. Some members were concerned about the potential dangers of using such a powerful weapon, while others saw it as a necessary measure to ensure their survival. The search begins. Captain Reyes, Kale, and a team of experts were tasked with locating the Celestial Beacon. Their journey took them to various ancient sites scattered across the galaxy, each location presenting its own set of challenges and mysteries. The search was fraught with danger, as the Nihilites had become aware of the Alliance's quest for the beacon. They sought to obtain the relic for themselves, believing it could be used to solidify their control over the galaxy. The trials of the beacon. The team faced numerous trials and obstacles as they sought the beacon. Each ancient site tested their skills and resolve, from navigating treacherous terrain to deciphering complex puzzles left by the ancients. One of the most significant trials was located on the planet Eldoria, where the team had to solve a series of intricate puzzles and evade traps designed to protect the beacon from falling into the wrong hands. The trials required a combination of intellect, teamwork, and bravery. The Nihilite threat. The Nihilites, ever the shadowy adversaries, launched a series of coordinated attacks on the Alliance's efforts to locate the beacon. Their strikes were aimed at disrupting the search and capturing any key figures involved. The Alliance's defense against these attacks highlighted the increasing desperation and resolve of the Nihilites. The conflict escalated as the search for the beacon intensified, and the stakes grew higher. The revelation. After a grueling search, the team uncovered a hidden chamber on the planet Zarath, where the Celestial Beacon was revealed to be more than just a weapon. The beacon was an ancient device capable of harnessing and amplifying the energy of celestial bodies. The discovery of the beacon's true nature brought both hope and caution. While it had the potential to turn the tide of the war, it also posed significant risks if not used properly. The beacon's power was immense, and its activation required precise knowledge and control. The Alliance's dilemma. With the Celestial Beacon in their possession, the Alliance faced a dilemma. They had to decide whether to use the beacon to strike at the heart of the Nihilite forces or to keep it safeguarded to prevent its misuse. The decision was complicated by the fact that the beacon's activation could potentially have unforeseen consequences, including collateral damage and destabilization of the galaxy's energy balance. The Council sought advice from experts and conducted simulations to assess the potential outcomes. The Nihilite counterstrike. The Nihilites, having intercepted information about the beacon, launched a major offensive against the Alliance's position. Their goal was to seize the beacon and use it to consolidate their power. The battle that ensued was fierce and destructive. The Alliance forces, bolstered by the insights gained from their search for the beacon, mounted a determined defense. The conflict was a test of their ability to protect their newfound asset and preserve their strategic advantage. The final decision. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Reyes and Cal were faced with the ultimate decision regarding the Celestial Beacon. They recognized the need for a solution that balanced the potential benefits of the beacon with the risks involved. After careful consideration and consultation with their allies, they decided to use the beacon in a controlled manner. The goal was to strike a decisive blow against the Nihilite forces while minimizing collateral damage and preserving the integrity of the galaxy's energy systems. The beacon's activation. The activation of the Celestial Beacon was a pivotal moment in the conflict. The Alliance executed the operation with precision, directing the beacon's energy to neutralize key Nihilite assets and disrupt their command structure. The effect was both dramatic and profound. the Nihilites suffered a significant setback, and their ability to conduct coordinated operations was severely compromised. The beacon's activation marked a turning point in the war, shifting the momentum in favor of the Alliance. The aftermath. In the wake of the beacon's activation, the galaxy began to recover from the immediate impact of the conflict. The Nihilites, though not defeated, were forced to retreat and reassess their strategies. The Alliance, having navigated the complexities of wielding such a powerful relic, sought to restore stability and rebuild. The discovery of the beacon and its impact on the war served as a reminder of the delicate balance between power and responsibility. Looking forward, as the galaxy began to heal from the scars of war, the lessons learned from the celestial beacon's activation shaped the Alliance's approach to future challenges. They remained vigilant and committed to their values, determined to uphold peace and cooperation in a galaxy that had been forever changed by their struggle. The legacy of the ancients and the celestial beacon became a symbol of both the potential and the peril of advanced technology. The Alliance's journey was far from over, but their experience with the beacon had prepared them for the ongoing challenges that lay ahead. The galaxy, now more united and resilient, looked toward a future where the shadows of the past could be overcome by the strength and determination of those who dared to seek a better tomorrow. Echoes of a new dawn, rebuilding trust. With the immediate threat of the Nihilites waning, the Alliance turned its focus to the monumental task of rebuilding and restoring trust among the galaxy's diverse civilizations. The victory with the celestial beacon had not only shifted the balance of power, but had also exposed the fractures within the Alliance and the broader galactic community. Diplomatic teams were dispatched to negotiate peace treaties and address the concerns of various factions. The goal was to ensure that the newly won peace would be both lasting and inclusive. The process was intricate and delicate, requiring careful navigation of political sensitivities and historical grievances. The rise of new leaders. As the Alliance began to stabilize, new leaders emerged from both human and alien factions. These leaders were characterized by their vision for a unified galaxy and their commitment to addressing the underlying issues that had fueled the conflict. Among them were figures who had previously been on the fringes of power, but now found themselves at the forefront of shaping the future. Captain Reyes and Cal, having proven their leadership and tactical prowess, were offered positions in the new coalition government. Their roles would involve overseeing the integration of the various factions and ensuring that the lessons learned from the conflict were applied to prevent future strife. Cultural Renaissance. The post-conflict era saw a cultural renaissance across the galaxy. With the threat of war receding, civilizations began to focus on celebrating their heritage and fostering mutual understanding. Festivals, exchanges, and collaborative projects flourished as species that had once been adversaries now sought to learn from one another. The Alliance's commitment to cultural diplomacy played a crucial role in this renaissance. Initiatives were launched to promote artistic and scientific collaboration, with the aim of building bridges between different societies and celebrating their unique contributions to galactic civilization. The integration of alien technology. The conflict with the Nihilites had brought to light the advanced technology of various alien species. The Alliance recognized the potential of this technology to advance their own capabilities and improve the quality of life across the galaxy. Research and development teams worked to integrate and adapt alien innovations, ensuring that they were used ethically and responsibly. One notable achievement was the development of a new form of energy propulsion that combined human and alien technological principles. This breakthrough promised to revolutionize space travel and exploration, opening up new frontiers for discovery and collaboration. Reconciliation and healing. Reconciliation efforts were a central focus of the post-conflict period. The Alliance established programs aimed at addressing the emotional and psychological scars left by the war. Support centers were set up to assist veterans, civilians, and displaced individuals in coping with their experiences and rebuilding their lives. Healing was not only about addressing the immediate aftermath of the conflict, but also about acknowledging and confronting the deeper wounds caused by years of mistrust and hostility. The process was slow and challenging, but it was essential for forging a lasting peace. The Nihilites' new path. The Nihilites, having suffered significant losses and facing internal turmoil, were forced to reassess their position and future. Some factions within the Nihilite leadership sought reconciliation and cooperation, recognizing the futility of continued aggression. Dialogue between the Alliance and the more moderate elements of the Nihilites led to the establishment of a framework for coexistence. While not all Nihilite factions agreed to the terms, the move towards negotiation represented a significant shift from the previous hostility. A new galactic order. The war's end marked the beginning of a new era for the galaxy. The Alliance's efforts to foster unity and cooperation resulted in the formation of a new galactic council comprised of representatives from various civilizations. This council was tasked with overseeing the implementation of policies that would promote peace, security, and prosperity. The new order emphasized the importance of collective decision-making and mutual respect. It aimed to address the root causes of conflict and build a framework for managing disputes through dialogue and collaboration rather than warfare. The legacy of the beacon. The celestial beacon, once a symbol of immense power and potential danger, came to represent the hope for a better future. Its legacy was celebrated as a reminder of the Alliance's resilience and ability to turn the tide of conflict. Efforts were made to ensure that the beacon's technology was preserved and understood in a manner that prevented its misuse. Research institutions were established to study the beacon's principles and ensure that its knowledge contributed to the advancement of peaceful endeavors, preparing for the future. As the galaxy looked toward the future, the lessons learned from the recent conflict shaped its approach to emerging challenges. The Alliance's experience with the beacon and the subsequent peace-building efforts provided valuable insights into the complexities of galactic diplomacy and the need for ongoing vigilance. The galaxy's diverse civilizations, now more interconnected than ever, faced a future full of both opportunities and uncertainties. The commitment to cooperation and understanding remained a guiding principle as the lessons of the past continued to inform their journey toward a more harmonious existence. The dawn of a new era. As the sun rose on a new era, the galaxy stood on the brink of a future shaped by unity and shared purpose. The echoes of the past, with their lessons and legacies, reverberated through the stars, guiding the path forward. The Alliance, with its newfound strength and resolve, looked ahead with hope and determination. The future was uncertain, but the spirit of collaboration and the lessons learned from their trials would serve as a beacon guiding them toward a brighter and more unified galaxy.